Have you ever wondered why the universe suddenly pulls everyone away from you? Why the people you thought would stay forever slowly disappear, leaving you with nothing but silence? It feels like punishment, doesn't it? Like life is deliberately cutting you off, locking you in a room with your own thoughts just to see how long before you break. But what if this isn't cruelty? What if this isolation is the universe's most powerful form of communication, one most people never stop long enough to hear? You've been surrounded by noise for so long that silence feels like an attack. Every day filled with distractions, endless scrolling, meaningless conversations that keep you just busy enough to forget who you are. Then suddenly it all stops. The people vanish, the excitement fades, the plans fall apart. You look around and realize it's just you now. And that's when the panic hits. You start questioning everything. Why me? What did I do wrong? Why does it feel like the world is moving on without me? But the truth is, you're not being left behind. You're being pulled aside. Because sometimes, before life can take you to your next chapter, it needs to isolate you from everything that no longer belongs in your story. Think about it. When was the last time you were truly alone, without reaching for your phone, without trying to escape into someone else's life? When you strip away every distraction, every opinion, every voice that tells you who you should be, what's left? That's what the universe wants you to face. Not to break you, but to rebuild you. Isolation isn't emptiness, it's space. Space to breathe. Space to heal. Space to finally hear yourself again. You've been drowning in other people's expectations for so long that you forgot what your own soul sounds like. This silence is your chance to listen. The pain you feel right now, the confusion, the loneliness, it's not a sign that you're lost, it's a sign that you're shedding. You're letting go of everything that kept you small. Every false identity you built to be accepted. Every mask you wore to belong. The universe isolates you to remind you that belonging starts within. It takes away the noise so you can rebuild from truth, not approval. The people who left weren't meant to stay in this version of your life. Their absence isn't rejection, it's redirection. The universe is clearing your path, even when it feels like it's tearing it apart. You might think you're stuck. You're not. You're being still on purpose. You're in the quiet part before the storm of transformation. You're learning how to exist without needing validation, how to stand in peace while everything else changes. This is the sacred pause, the reset that only solitude can bring. And yes, it hurts. Growth always does. But this pain is intelligent. It knows what it's doing. It's removing everything that doesn't align with who you're becoming. You can't carry the weight of your past into the next version of your life. You're being stripped clean so you can rise lighter, stronger, clearer. And one day, when the noise returns, and it will, you'll feel the difference. You'll see the world, but you won't need it to fill you. You'll be surrounded by people again, but you won't lose yourself in them. You'll have peace that doesn't depend on anyone staying, because you've met yourself in the silence, and once you do, no one can take that from you. That's the real reason the universe isolated you, to bring you home to yourself. So don't fight this moment. Don't rush to escape it. Let the stillness do its work. Let it tear away what was never real. The loneliness you feel isn't a void. It's the space where new life begins. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. The universe is rebuilding you, quietly, perfectly, piece by piece. And when it's done, when you finally step out of this silence, you'll realize it was never isolation. It was initiation. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared for everything you've been asking for. You're standing on the edge of something enormous, and you can feel it, even if you can't name it yet. That quiet you've been living in, that ache you've been trying to numb, it's not meant to last forever. It's the space before the breakthrough, the silence before the sound, the moment before everything changes. But the universe can't hand you a new life while you're still clinging to the old one. That's why everything had to stop. That's why people had to leave. That's why it had to hurt. You're being asked to let go of control and trust that what's waiting for you is far greater than what you're mourning. You've been taught to run from discomfort, to fill every gap with noise, every pause with distraction. But the truth is, your discomfort is sacred. It's trying to get your attention. Every moment of pain, every stretch of loneliness, it's your soul knocking, saying, there's more, look deeper. You keep searching for answers outside yourself, hoping someone else will fix the emptiness inside. But no one's coming to save you, because you don't need saving. You need remembering. Remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Remembering the strength you buried to make others comfortable. The isolation you feel isn't abandonment, it's invitation. You've been chosen to return to yourself. The longer you resist it, the louder it gets. The more you try to distract yourself, the heavier it feels. Because the universe will never let you settle where you don't belong. It will keep pulling you out of places that shrink you. It will keep removing the people who drain you. It will keep stripping away the identities that were never truly yours. That's not cruelty, that's love. That's divine interference. You think you're losing everything, but what's actually happening is revelation. You're seeing what was never real in the first place. You're watching illusions crumble so that only truth remains. And yes, it's terrifying, but what's more terrifying is living your whole life pretending. You can't afford to keep living small. You can't keep waiting for permission to rise. The world doesn't need another version of who you were. It needs who you're becoming. The one who has walked through the fire. The one who learned how to sit with the silence and not run from it. The one who turned loneliness into power. Because once you've faced yourself, once you've looked into the depths of your own pain and chosen to grow anyway, nothing can control you again. No rejection can break you. No loss can define you. You've already met the darkest part of yourself and realized it didn't destroy you. It introduced you to your strength. There's a reason this message found you now. It's not coincidence. You were meant to hear this. You were meant to wake up to what you've been avoiding. The version of you that's been hiding behind fear and doubt. Its time is over. The universe isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every lonely night was shaping you for this moment. You are standing in the middle of your transformation. And it's messy, it's painful, it's uncomfortable. But that's how real change feels. It's supposed to shake you. It's supposed to demand everything you've been holding back. Because the life you want doesn't exist in your comfort zone. It exists on the other side of surrender. So stop fighting the process. Stop questioning why it had to be you. It had to be you because you're strong enough to survive it. You're meant to carry light through darkness, not avoid it. Every scar you've collected is proof that you're still here, still trying, still believing, even when you have no reason to. That's power. That's faith. That's the kind of energy that moves mountains and bends reality. And when you finally understand that the pain was never working against you, you'll stop fearing it. You'll thank it. Because it's what pushed you to grow, to rise, to evolve into everything you were always meant to become. The isolation was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of your awakening. You were pulled away so you could rise without distraction. You were broken open so light could pour in. You were emptied so you could finally be filled with something real. So take a breath, feel it. The silence that once scared you is now your power. The stillness that felt unbearable is now your strength. And when you walk out of this chapter, you won't be the same person who entered it. You'll be something new, something unshakable, because you'll finally realize you were never alone. You were being rebuilt for something extraordinary. And that something begins now. You've spent so much time waiting for a sign, hoping for something to prove that all this pain means something. But what if the sign isn't coming from the outside? What if it's already inside you, quiet, steady, and waiting for you to finally listen? You keep looking to the world for answers that were written in your soul long before you started searching. That's why everything around you feels like it's collapsing. It's not destruction, it's direction. The universe is forcing you inward because that's where your truth lives. And the moment you stop running from yourself, everything begins to change. The life you want isn't somewhere out there. It's hidden behind every fear you've been avoiding. It's on the other side of the walls you built to protect yourself. You've been afraid to let go, afraid that if you release control, everything will fall apart. But control is an illusion. It's fear disguised as safety. The moment you surrender, you step into flow. And that flow, that stillness you've been resisting, is where your real power begins. You can't create a new reality from the same energy that's been holding you captive. You have to burn the version of yourself that was built on survival so that the one built on truth can rise. You've outgrown the spaces you once begged to fit into. That's why they feel suffocating now. You're being called to step beyond them, but the mind clings to what's familiar even when it hurts. Comfort zones are cages disguised as homes. You've mistaken predictability for peace, but peace isn't found in what's easy, it's found in what's real. And the truth is, the moment you decide to stop shrinking, everything that's not aligned with your expansion will start to fall away. Let it. Don't chase what's leaving. The universe doesn't take without purpose. Every loss, every ending, every silence, it's all clearing the way for what's next. You might not see it yet, but something inside you has already shifted. You can feel it in your gut, that quiet whisper telling you there's more to life than this cycle of waiting, doubting, and pretending. That whisper is your higher self calling you home. But it won't yell, it won't fight for your attention. You have to silence the noise long enough to hear it. That's why isolation came. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You're not broken, you're being recalibrated. Everything you thought you lost, you'll find again. But in a higher form, in a way that matches who you're becoming instead of who you were. You are not here by accident. You were chosen to rise at a time when most people stay asleep. To feel deeply when others numb out, to question everything when others blindly follow. That's not weakness, it's awakening. It takes courage to face your own soul, to stand in front of your pain and say, I'm not running anymore. That's what this moment demands from you. Courage. Not the loud kind, not the kind that shouts for attention, but the quiet, relentless kind that says, even if I'm scared, I'm still moving forward. Because that's what transformation is. It's movement through fear, not escape from it. You can't wait for the perfect moment to change. You create it, you claim it, you become it. Every thought, every decision, every breath is a choice between your old self and your new one. You are one decision away from the version of you that doesn't need validation. One decision away from peace that doesn't depend on circumstance. The universe is not testing you, it's trusting you. Trusting that you'll finally remember what you're made of. Trusting that you'll stop doubting your power and start living from it. And when you do, everything around you shifts. The energy you give changes the reality you experience. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop fearing endings because you know every ending carries the seed of a beginning. You stop needing proof because you become the proof. You start to see that every moment of solitude was sculpting you into something unbreakable. You start to understand that the reason the universe isolated you was never to punish you. It was to reveal you. Because the world can't meet the real you until you do. This is your awakening. This is your turning point. The silence that once haunted you has become your teacher. The pain that once broke you has become your strength. And now, the only thing left to do is rise. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because the universe has already done its part. It's your move. You've been walking through the fire for so long that you've forgotten what peace feels like. You've been surviving instead of living, fighting battles no one sees, pretending you're fine while something deep inside you keeps whispering, this isn't where your story ends. You've outgrown your old life, and that's why it's crumbling. You can't fit into spaces that were built for a smaller version of you. The universe knows it. That's why it keeps pushing you out of your comfort zones, out of your illusions, out of everything that no longer matches the frequency of who you're becoming. Every closed door, every disappointment, every painful ending, it's all part of the same message. It's time to rise. But rising requires release. You can't take the weight of your past into the light of your future. You can't hold on to fear and expect freedom to find you. You've got to choose. And the truth is, the universe will wait for you to choose. It will let you circle the same lessons, repeat the same pain, live the same day over and over until you finally decide you're done being who you used to be. This is your breaking point, but not the kind that destroys you, the kind that wakes you up, the kind that forces you to stop pretending you're powerless. You're not. You never were. You just forgot what power feels like when it's not masked by control. Every time you thought you were breaking, you were actually being rebuilt. Every time you lost something, you were being guided closer to what's real. You've mistaken endings for punishment when they were simply redirections. You've mistaken silence for abandonment when it was protection. The universe isolates you so it can rewrite your story without the noise of everyone else's opinions. It hides you so you can heal without interference. It empties your hands so you can finally receive what was always meant for you. But it can't fill what you refuse to release. You have to unclench your fists, stop fighting what's leaving, and trust that what's meant for you will never require you to beg for it to stay. This is your transformation. And transformation isn't gentle. It breaks, it burns, it unravels everything false until all that's left is truth. And that truth is this: you are not behind. You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be, in the sacred space between what was and what will be. The in-between hurts because it's where your old self dies, and death never feels peaceful. But on the other side of that pain is rebirth. The version of you that's coming doesn't carry doubt in their chest or fear in their veins. They move differently, speak differently, love differently, because they finally understand that isolation wasn't rejection, it was alignment. There is a greater rhythm to your life, one that's been guiding you even when you couldn't see it. You were never wandering, you were being led. Every delay was protection, every heartbreak was direction, every silence was a doorway to something deeper. The universe wasn't ignoring you, it was preparing you. Because when you step into your power, when you rise into the version of yourself that's no longer afraid to be seen, the world around you has to adjust. And not everyone will understand it. Not everyone will follow. That's okay. Some people are only meant to meet you at certain chapters, not the whole book. You're not here to be understood. You're here to become undeniable. So let this be the moment you stop waiting for permission. Stop apologizing for changing. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable with your growth. The ones who are meant for you will rise with you. The ones who aren't will fade. And that's how it's supposed to be. Because what's waiting on the other side of your courage is everything you've been praying for. Peace that doesn't fade, clarity that doesn't waver, purpose that doesn't depend on approval. This is not the end of your story. It's the chapter where you finally wake up to the truth of who you are. The universe didn't isolate you to break you. It isolated you to reveal you, to strip away the noise, the masks, the lies, until all that's left is light. You, pure, unfiltered, infinite you. And when you finally see that, when you finally remember what you've always been capable of, you'll realize that every loss was a blessing. Every silence was sacred. Every ending was the beginning of something greater. Because you were never forgotten. You were being prepared to rise. And now, it's time. You've carried the weight for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to breathe freely. You've been strong for everyone else, showing up, pretending, holding it together while something inside you has been quietly breaking. But this breaking, it's not destruction, it's revelation, it's the universe peeling away every layer that isn't you, forcing you to confront the truth you've been avoiding. You were never meant to live half alive. You were never meant to hide behind fear. You were never meant to shrink to fit into places your soul has already outgrown. The pain you feel is a signal. It's your awakening. It's the universe saying, enough pretending. It's time to remember who you are. Every storm that hit you wasn't meant to drown you. It was meant to cleanse you. You've been purging the versions of yourself that settled for less, the parts that thought being loved meant being small, the parts that mistook comfort for peace. But peace doesn't come from playing safe. It comes from truth. And truth is fierce. It doesn't care about your excuses or your fears. It will tear through everything false until only the real remains. That's why it hurts so much right now. Because what's dying is your illusion of control. You can't build a new life on the foundation of who you used to be. You have to let the old self burn completely until nothing is left but raw, unshakable authenticity. The moment you stop fighting your transformation is the moment everything starts to make sense. The loneliness, the silence, the loss, they're not random. They're sacred. You've been placed in isolation because the next version of you requires stillness to form. The world couldn't mold you, so the universe took you aside to do it itself. Every unanswered prayer was protection. Every delay was precision. You were being rerouted, refined, rebuilt in the dark where no one could see it happening. And when you emerge from this silence, the light that comes from you will be unrecognizable, unstoppable, undeniable. This is your invitation to stop living like you're waiting for permission. Stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for things to make sense before you move. The truth is, they won't. Not yet. Because clarity comes after courage, not before it. The universe doesn't reward hesitation. It responds to action. Every step you take into the unknown is proof that you trust the process. And that trust is what opens doors you can't even see yet. You've been standing at the threshold for too long. You've felt the pull, the quiet, knowing that it's time. But fear has been whispering its lies, convincing you that you're not ready. You are. You always were. The fear isn't a stop sign. It's confirmation that you're standing on the edge of something sacred. The world needs the version of you that's not afraid to be seen. The one who isn't weighed down by doubt or shaped by approval. The one who acts from love, not lack. That version of you already exists. You're just remembering how to become them. The isolation was the awakening. The pain was the teacher. The silence was the doorway. And now it's open. You're standing in front of it. All that's left to do is walk through. You don't need to know what's on the other side. You just need to trust that what's meant for you will meet you halfway the moment you start moving. This isn't about starting over. It's about rising higher, about stepping into the life that's been waiting for you all along. A life where you no longer chase love because you are love. Where you no longer beg for peace because you are peace. Where you stop doubting your worth because you finally see that you were never broken. You were becoming. Every scar, every loss, every sleepless night, it all brought you here to this moment, to this realization. The universe didn't isolate you to punish you. It isolated you to awaken you, to show you that you've had the power all along. So stand tall, breathe deep,